Right, it's Sunday. I think we'll do the first 10 minutes of this and then call it a day. I'm pretty tired. Done 2 church services today, and I've been working on the organ for a bit. Could you service my Binatone 5-star, please? Low power switch does nothing. Display flickers when between 33 and 34. Well, that doesn't matter. Everything else seems to work. Original mic. What we're going to do, I'm not going to look at his mic yet. He says it's intermittently cutting out, which is probably dirty contact in it. Hopefully not a broken lead, or he will be in trouble. So we've gone from one of the best sets ever available, and yet underappreciated. People with Rotel 240s get more money for them, yet they're not as good as set. So it's as good as it gets. Even got the original sales blurb on it. What we've got to hope is it hasn't been messed with, because unfortunately the higher end the set is, the more they seem to have been messed with. You don't find Fidelity thousands having been messed with, whereas you find flagship models like this have been. He did supply the bracket and side screws, and I've immediately put them back in the box, or he'll end up with us losing them. So we'll just see what it does. I'm not going to touch it till we've found out what it does, but I do want to just power it up. I want to inspect the innards and hope there's no surprises. We'll take the lid off and disconnect the enormous speaker, which is bigger than any other Cybernet speaker I'm aware of. I can't see anything naughtily connected up. Low power is usually the preset. So that can be soaking in till tomorrow. So I'll connect it up to the test equipment. So using our standard Cybernet mic, which is the standard replacement mic, connected up to the test gear. And we'll be running on the crocodile clips. We do that one on the outside and this one on the inside, which is a shame because they won't short together then. Okay, so we're powered up. Switch the radio on. It's on channel 28. It's now on channel 20. Let's make sure the knobs are in the right place. So squelch down, RF gain to full, mic gain to full, display, we'll keep that in high position, channel 9 off, CB, high power, external speaker, delta tune to 0. Well, it's receiving the signal generator and I've not even set the signal generator yet. It's just where it was left last time. So I'll select picture in picture, which is appearing on the monitor, and we will key up. There's the 3 watt scale, so full scale deflection is 3 watts, and it's just doing 3 watts. So if we go over to the 30 watt scale, 4 watts should be there, and it's 3 watts. So I'll tell you what, we'll make some notes. So TX equals 3 watts. So we'll see how on frequency it is. I'm going to take this with a pinch of salt because the test set's only been on for 5 minutes. $27,79085, and that's going to be low anyway because they drop with age. If it was any lower, I'd say it was out of spec, but we're okay just there. Deviation. So our 2 is there, 2.2, 2.5. Wallow, it's 3.1. So that needs to come down. And make sure this balance between the kind of internal mic gain and yeah, it doesn't look like it's in the right position. So we'll go over to receive. It's listening to 0.3 microvolts, which is very good. I'm going to set the test set off frequency. So if you remember, it was 27,79085. So we'll set the receive signal generator to 27,790. We will if we can. 085. That'll do. And then we're testing it fairly off frequency. So we'll go over to the Cybernet meter. We've already got 12 on this. It's just not quite. It's just not quite 0.3. So there's 12. It's doing 0.35. So RX 0.35 microvolts for 12 dB Cybernet. So I'm going to make sure we've got the VCO set, and we'll probably leave it at that for today. Now I have to find a service manual. It doesn't matter how often I do these, I have a memory like a sieve. Okay, so it looks like I'm going to have to go looking for the Cybernet service manual, but we'll do the other thing which I was going to do at the same time. I know we put this to channel 40, so I'm just going to do that, and we'll turn the volume down. What we're going to do is look at another meter that I bought today. So first of all, we'll just connect this up to this radio, put some glasses on so I can actually see where I am. Here's the test point. It's going to transmit. So I think it's that. Is it the far side? So on transmit we've got 4.07, which sounds too high, and on receive we've got 4.2. Okay. So we'll adjust that tomorrow. But meanwhile, I went to Lidl and bought another multimeter for £9.99. As you know, we use this Aldi one, which I think was £19.99. Yes, I do have Avo 8s. I really can't be bothered to use them. Throws the battery in the radio. Luckily it's covered in cellophane. Oh look, we get an instruction book, which is more than we usually do with the radios we buy. So some people play sexy music while we peel these off, or we don't. This won't hurt much. It's a little bit smaller than the Aldi one that I use. Does it have a battery? Yes, it's there and you have to put it in. Battery. The screw is captive, which is nice. So it's come with a Maxell alkaline battery. I remember how much I paid for a cheap digital multimeter when I had to check line output transformers for a more accurate number of ohms than I was getting with an A08. Americans call them flyback transformers, but they're line output transformers to me. So we'll get the probes out. This looks like it's auto range. It's got protectors on. That's something else I can throw away. Targa GmbH Germany. These look a bit flimsier than the ones on the yellow Aldi meter. That's not going to stay on. Have these got something that takes off? What's it I can make happen? The ends are too short, so it's alright not being able to electrocute yourself, but I do need to be able to put crocodile clips on it, just coming off time and time again. That might have balanced it. So let's see what we've got. 4.23, except the clips just come off again. And in transmit 4.18, so 4.07. So it reads about the same, doesn't it? It's a shame I can't find the sometimes I put these away instead of having a big pile of them, but it's a mistake to ever put away the Cybernet one. I can find a Take 535 one. What we will do, we'll just run up through the first bit of the, forget that, we'll go through the first bit of the transmitter, which we can do. So go into transmit, select the right meter, so that wasn't at peak, and that wasn't at peak either. that was near enough. And then we need the green trimming tool, which sometimes lives in its case and sometimes doesn't. So let's see where we are. So it's now doing more than 3 watts, it's doing 3.1. And I can hear the meter banging across. So put it on frequency, there's enough time elapsed now. So it's come up a little bit now the test set's been on half an hour, but we just need to bring that onto frequency. There we go, that's nice. I'll just run through these coils once again, seeing as I'll... Right, we'll come back to that tomorrow. We'll use the Parkside meter. £9.99, unbelievable. So here we are the next day, or is it the day after? It's Tuesday. So with some alignment destructions, let's switch this Parkside £90.99 multimeter on. Now, definitely cheaper probes than I normally have. And we'll switch the radio on. So test point 1, which I recall is the far side of... Why aren't I getting anything? Oh yeah, this meter has these horrible probes, doesn't it? They're like they should be removable, the tips. Where's the black one gone? I've got very strong fingers, but I still can't remove it. It looks permanent on this. Right, here we go. So we're on channel 20, we're on channel 40. So we're on channel 40. Connect the circuit tester between test point 1 and ground. And we're in receive mode, and we should have 4 volts plus or minus 0.1. So we'll just rotate the VCO coil very slightly. There we go. Set the radio into transmit mode. Adjust for 4 volts with CT1. That's the red trimmer down there where my green crocodile clip is. I don't need to adjust that, it's 3.97. Select the selector to channel 1. And we should have between 1.8 and 2.5 volts in transmit. And on receive we should have between 1.9 and 2.5 volts. So I've done the slightest of adjustments. It didn't need it, but just for the demonstration. So I'll put the Parkside meter away. we'll put the work zone Aldi multimeter away. No wonder I don't go shopping at places like Waitrose where they don't do multimeters. What kind of supermarket doesn't sell multimeters? And that's why Boots the Chemist shouldn't have been selling CB radios in 1981. Okay. Now, wouldn't it be nice if we could get more than 3 watts out of the radio? And to do that, we now need to find our green trimming tool. Right. So it's L4, 8 and 9 to maximum. 4, 8, 9. So let's look at that power meter. So we're doing spot on 3 watts. So we want maximum on that coil. That's already at maximum. Maximum on this coil. And that's already at maximum. The maximum on this coil. And that's already at maximum. Now, it's not usual that a Binatone 5-star only does 3 watts. So we will go once again through these earlier coils. While we're at it, we'll put the thing on frequency. You know what I'm doing again? I'm tuning it up on channel 1 instead of channel 1400. I'm not getting anywhere. So we'll just pop this onto frequency. Slightly high will do me. Once again, we'll go to the power meter. Three and a half is the maximum we can get. I think we'll just check underneath to make sure nothing silly's happened, because silly things can happen over 40 years, as we seem to keep finding out. No, that looks perfect. Put one screw back in so that we've not going to find it's wandering all over the benching bits. Subject to being able to put the screw back in. My late father fancied that he could repair a clock, so he took the back off it and all the springs and things fell out. So I took it into a clock repairer's and folks said, "Have you had a look at this yourself, sir?" So my dad says, "Yes." And so I can see that it's the front that comes off these clocks, not the back. Okay, we've just about got 4 watts out of it, like 3.9. We'll just come back to that when it's cooled down. Just about going backwards and forwards very, very meticulously. So let's look at receive. Oh no, before we look at anything else, let's make sure the meter says 4 watts on it, because I can hear it banging across. So key up, bang. So we've set that to 4, where it should be. Now then, this speech thing's all wrong, so we want that one to midway, and then we'll do the deviation on the other one. Wallop. One to wallow. This might gain up. Yep. Wallow. Spot on. Now low power's not working. So gone to low power. I don't think the preset's faulty on this occasion. On the other hand, pressing down on it produces power, so we'll pause the video. Right, I've changed the preset. Let's see whether we have got low power transmit now. So we're on the 3 watt scale on the test set. And there we go. 400 milliwatts. And back to high power, just a shade under the 4 watts. Good, that's transmit sorted. I don't know why that was broken, but it was. So on receive. So 2779125. So we'll put the oscilloscope on, we'll put an S9 equivalent signal on the test set of 100 microvolts, and we'll look at that on the oscilloscope. Just turn the volume up a bit. And we'll adjust the detector, or if you want to call it the discriminator coil. Oh, unusual, it was spot on, that's excellent. Turn the volume down a bit. So now we'll tune the receiver. So it was already within spec as it was, but we'll go through it nevertheless. Switch to the cyanide meter. Start with that coil. Well, that's an improvement, so we'll drop the attenuator. We'll actually have to go on to the next scale. go to a bigger signal. Slight improvement there. And there's the one down there. And that looks to be about it. Where are we? Well, we're now 0.28 microvolts. So we'll say 3.8 watts, which is actually what the service manual tells you to set it to. Now if we put that on the target meter, it'll be more than 4 watts. So it's 79127. So we've done that. That's in spec, that's in spec. That's now 2.2 to 2.5. That's done. And that was already good, and it's now 0.28 microvolts. So just for the record, on 10 dB, it's 0.25 for 10 dB, and if we can get it to do 20, not all sets can, only down to noise, it's what? I'll tell you what, it's a very healthy 0.8. So it's very, very sensitive receive. Now I'm sure he doesn't want me to spend big money on trying to get another 0.2 of a watt out of it by changing the driver transistor and the output transistor, but that's probably the only outcome which you could do. But there you go, it's in spec, and that's the important thing. So let's put 100 microvolt equivalent on the meter, put the attenuator controls on that, and as you can see it's banging across. So we want that to be S9. Where is it? It's that one, isn't it? So that's now S9. Squelch. I'm going to turn the squelch to full on the radio, and let's see on the test set where it comes in. It wants to be 100 microvolts, so 1, 3, 10, 30, 100. That's spot on. So I don't need to adjust it, but it's the preset just there. So that doesn't often happen. They've usually been really fiddled with. So we'll do the opposite test. We'll now set the radio to squelch threshold, and we'll switch the signal generator back on. It's parked at 0.3 of a microvolt. So it's coming in at 0.95 of a microvolt and leaving it 0.9. Now squelch isn't a hot thing on these, but at least it is a competent squelch. So as far as I'm concerned, we are done. So pause the video and go and tune an organ. Right, we'll put his set back together, so now we move on to his microphone. So it's a coffin microphone, Binatone 5-star original, bit of the grill missing. But one of the things that worries me is it's stiff just here as it enters, and that's usually by breath pop, which has caused the shield to corrode. And we have the problem with mic leads. So I've tightened up the clamps on this. Perhaps it's got a dirty switch, perhaps it isn't faulty at all. So we'll put it on the test set, we'll put the little receiver on, we'll go back to picture in picture, we'll look at this, yeah, we could have looked at the oscilloscope, we'll look at this. So there's deviation, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, wallow, 1, 2, 1, 2, testing 1, 2. So let's listen to it. Bearing in mind there's no aerial on this. Testing 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, testing 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I ought to bring the air on with an aerial, oughtn't I? 1 2, testing 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2. I can't see anything wrong with that, so whether or not we've fixed it by clamping it up. But let's compare that to ours. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2, testing 1 2 1 2. Testing 1 2. Anyway, if something's amiss with this mic, Mr. Chip will soon tell me. But I mean, if there was spare mic leads, I'd change the mic lead. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Well, it sounds all right to me. So we will put this on the air, and we'll see if there's any good buddies out there at 2:30 on a Tuesday afternoon. I'll switch off the test set, save that little bit of electricity. That's a very sensitive receiver. One niner, Roger. Something on 30, a very long way off. One niner, Roger. No. And on this set you have to remember to switch between the internal and external speaker with the switch, which is a good idea, but it doesn't. You don't just plug it in and it disconnects the internal speaker. I like that. You may have a situation where you've got a van with a speaker in the back and you think, oh, I'll go in the back of the van, and you switch to that speaker. So I think that's good. So there we have it, the Binatone 5-star with original mic, and don't see many of those, from 1981, and that's excellent. Thanks for watching.